So you're going out to country this afternoon.
Yes.
Okay. Where's
Waiting
that?
for Kanissa to get back and then, heading out. So that's northwest New South Wales, just across the Queensland border,
Okay.
Boggabilla, Toomala, Gamilaroi country.
Gamilaroi, and that's your nation.
That is my nation. Proud Gamilaroi inner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Gamilaroi mean?
You mean the meaning of the word?
Yeah.
Well, that's just the name of the nation. That's just the tribal name.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it's quite a big tribal nation.
It is massive. It is so big. I think it's one of the biggest in New South Wales. Yeah,
Right.
so it spans right out west past Walgett and then further south past Tamworth and through those plains there as well.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe, start by telling people out there like a bit about yourself? And first of all, I'd like to say I'm really excited to have you on this podcast. You're the first Indigenous woman I've had from Australia. So it's a real honour to have you here, Rosie. And yeah, I'm excited to do this interview. And we met a couple of years ago through some, I don't want to say extraordinary, but it was, like cool kind of circumstances that led us to cross paths and meet. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. You're hard to get hold of at times, but we're here now. But maybe if you could explain a bit about like where you come from, who your ancestors, your culture.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here as well. And I'm not very good with messaging people back. So you just got to keep messaging me.
Yeah.
And I'll eventually, we'll have that dialogue.
Yeah.
But so Yamanyindai, my name's Rosie. I'm proud Gamilaroi, from Boggabilla, Toomala. I'm a mother, grandmother, cultural practitioner, knowledge holder. I'm from out there on country. That's my home, but I live in Meanjin, Brisbane and Yuggera, Turrbal country.
Yeah, beautiful. And you grew up in Gamilaroi country. Like, did you grow up on a mission?
I did. I grew up on Toomala mission. So lived all of my childhood out there on the mission, growing up out there, my family, it was just a beautiful place to be. It was safe. And then as an adult moved into town, which is only 15 Ks away.
Yeah.
So then lived there for the rest of my time. I've only lived off country for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still definitely really connected and embedded out there, going back there this afternoon, go back there for all the sorry business and any other important events that happen on country. And it's also about fulfilling cultural obligations as well.
Yeah.
Whenever my community and elders need me, then, they call me home, then I have to go home.
Yeah. What's it like growing up so just for people out there, mission is, I guess, in the States or Canada, it's, would be reservation. But in Australia, they say mission. Like, what is it like growing up on a mission and especially being, Indigenous?
Yeah, well, that's all I really knew. So I'm still learning about the world.
Yeah.
Scott has been helping me with that because I still learn things every day because you only know what happens on the mission. When I grew up, there was no technology. Mm-hmm. So we didn't see outside what was going on.
Yeah.
We just lived in this safe place. We didn't see racism. It was just really secure. And, the people who come on the mission, it was through connections and their relationship to us. So they were kind of like safe people as well. So we would meet them and then they would leave. So growing up out there, it wasn't all perfect, you know, there was hard times and there was violence around, but that's everywhere, I think. But I think the thing that's not everywhere is that community security. And that's what's missing in today's society. My mum's sister, so all my mum's sisters are my mums. So I had mums everywhere, all over the mission where I could go to, and I did all the time. And they had different roles and different purposes. You know, there was one that lived across from me, and she was like one of the eldest of my mum's sisters. So she was the loving and nurturing type mum. So I would go to her, and I remember one time saying, Auntie Ada, I don't have any shoes. Can you talk to mum, please? I need to, you know, I'd love a pair of shoes. So through that mum, then she talked to my mum, and through that, I was able to get those shoes. That was a big thing because we didn't wear shoes, which was fine. I didn't like wearing shoes, and I still don't really wear shoes. I went to school, primary school out there, and we didn't wear shoes. We would just come, you know, to school as we are and go home for lunch and come back. It was when I went to high school, they told me that I had to wear shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, well, I don't want to wear shoes. That's what you have to. You need, you know, you do need to go to high school because it was in the next town, Boggabilla.
Yeah.
We had to get the bus in there. So I wore shoes and I got to town and got to be educated at the high school, which again was pretty much just as safe as the school on the mission because it was, an Aboriginal school with mostly only, there was a few white people there, but the ones that were there, they were safe. They were living in our community. So we didn't experience any racism at school at all. It was just so wonderful. So that school was actually created because us kids on the mission, we would had to go to the next town over the border to high school. And over there was so much racism. Yeah, it was just really bad. The kids from the mission were getting bashed and picked on every day. And they would come back, and I remember my older brothers and sisters coming back, and we'd get all excited. They would bring us chips and lollies back because we didn't have shops out there. So we would run up to the bus and, you know, get chips and lollies. And then, you know, some of them would tell us about the fights they would get into. And I was like, oh, geez, I don't want to go to high school. I don't want to go to Gundawindi. But luckily enough, I didn't have to. The elders and leaders in our community, they fought to have our own school in the next town, which was Boggabilla, where we didn't have to go to Gundawindi and deal with racism. So, yeah, and I obviously went to school, and I had, there's all great teachers there, and, you know, they play a big role in, you know, helping to empower us children out there in communities because, you know, we didn't get to, like I said, didn't get to see the outside world. So they brought that to us. And so, you know, they come to our community, I guess, wanting to support us and help us with our education. And I remember, you know, there was one teacher there that really connected with me, and I know if it wasn't for his love and care, and he knew that I loved school. And when I didn't get the bus one day, he drove out to the mission. He rang my parents and said, you know, Rosie's not at school today. Is everything all right? And they just said, well, she just missed the bus. And he said, well, I'm going to come out and get her. So he did. He came and got me. And because of him, I didn't miss a day of school.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't wake up for, I don't know, I'd be late to catch the bus for whatever reasons, I don't remember. But, you know, people like that who come into our communities just, I guess, they play a big role in supporting us, getting us through that education system and empowering us. And then later on in life, he married, well, not later on, he married one of the other teachers. And then later on in life, they looked me up on Facebook and found me and, yeah, reconnected. with him and his wife. It was so beautiful.
Mm.
So even though it was isolated, we still had these beautiful people like teachers and health workers and other non-Indigenous workers coming into our community and engaging with us and sharing the outside world with us, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, even though there was lots of trauma on the mission, there was still, like I said, there's trauma everywhere, but there was this real community, and there still is. You know, a lot of that respect has gone, but a lot of that fundamental, I guess, family
Values.
beliefs and systems are still out there.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that I was brought up out there, and just in today's society, seeing my fellow Aboriginal brothers and sisters, a lot of them people are so lost because they didn't grow up like I did, with all the family connections and connections to country and stories and culture and just being there and living that. They didn't have that. So they're still trying to find this connection, and I like to help them with that as much as I can. You know, I call that bringing our people back to who. Sorry, that was long-winded.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. I like what you're saying about, like I've heard that a lot before about in a community, like everyone's an uncle or an auntie, there's all mums. Indigenous, with Indigenous people I've studied with in the Americas, they even call little girls like grandmothers or mothers because they are that, even though they're not, they don't have children. And I really love the respect. And I was talking with a friend the other day actually about similar things, about like how close families will have kids, but there's an expectation here. And I think it comes from a mindset that's been left over from, like a convict era, like the penal colony kind of era for white Australia, which is like you do it on your own. You've been taken away from, let's say, your ancestral lands. You've been dumped in this beautiful foreign country, and then you're expected to just kind of make your own without any connection to culture or family. And I see that nowadays in white Australia here, or you could say all immigrants that have come to this country, not just white Australians, but, anyone from, like the Middle East, Asia, wherever it is, they do still hold some cultural and family values there. But I do feel like there's an expectation that here you're just meant to do it on your own. And I was wondering if you could talk a bit about what that is from an Indigenous point of view, from an Australian Indigenous point of view, of like what community is. You talk about having mothers everywhere and fathers everywhere, but how does that help children and the community?
Yeah, first of all, that just makes me sad hearing that, that people are out there living and in this world by themselves kind of thing. I just can't fathom that because I don't know that.
Yeah.
What I know is, this community, and it's about stepping up and stepping into this space, whenever we're needed. For example, there was this young girl had her baby taken last week, and it's a girl that is very loved and looks after her children. And, I feel we all help raise that girl.
Yeah.
She's connected to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, she reached out to me and said, "Honey, can you help me?" And I did. So it's about just doing what you can for our people, just to, because a lot of them, like I said, don't leave the mission and understand how to work with bureaucrats and the Western society. It's really difficult. I'm kind of like a bridge for them. So I was able to help her, but there's so many of us helping her. Everyone has a strength and everyone has a purpose, and we use that. There are some people on the ground that are there supporting her and helping her emotionally and mentally and caring for her while I'm here in Brisbane, talking to all the lawyers and, human rights activists and all this kind of stuff. So we all just get in and do what we can, what our strengths are.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it's just normal to me. I don't know any other way. And when I go into places that don't, I guess, behave and in that way, it just astounds me because we need each other.
Mm.
We really do. Humans need each other for so many things. We need to love each other and connect and share stories and just be with each other. But so many people are not doing that out there. There's a huge disconnect, and it just makes me really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been back in Australia for a bit now, and I feel that, even with my wife's family being Colombian and the Latin kind of joy and love they have and sharing.
Mm.
You come back here and you can see it. There's a level of like, maybe it's independence, but it's not independence because people are just kind of out there trying to prove something or do it themselves. And I love that whole thing of coming together in community and sharing and creating, like memories, spiritual memories, memories that you can take and stories that you can pass on and those traditions. And but I hope that that lady, that everything goes well with her child.
Oh, things are happening with her and for her, and my lawyer friend is going to help her sue the government because it was just all illegal what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is growing up? I mean, you talked about living on the mission, how beautiful it is, and having some systematic kind of racism exposure at a young age. But what's it been like in the last, like 10 years living in a major city like Brisbane for you as a let's say a black woman in Australia?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I don't like to be here, but I've got a special needs daughter. There's no access to services, specialist services for her out there in the community. So we have to go to the major cities. She needs to see a neurologist, a pediatrician, and all sorts of specialists regularly.
Yeah.
And they're not out there. So I'm kind of forced to be in this society. And I don't like it. It really, my spirit isn't happy here, which is why I go home every few weeks or, once a month or something, just to go back and refill my spirit. That's how I cope with being here in the city. And I try to connect with other Aboriginal people, especially Gamilaraay people, just to, kind of keep sane in this foreign world that I'm in because it feels so foreign when it's nothing that I know. I won't catch public transport because I just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get on a train or a bus. I won't drive into the city. I get a taxi in there or something if I go in for work because the buildings, the energy, everything, all the people, it's just all too much for me.
Yeah.
And my spirit doesn't recognize that.
Yeah.
So it's not making that connection with this space that I'm living in. So it's always hurting and yearning to go back home on country.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm going out there today. This week is NAIDOC week. So, happy NAIDOC week if any mobs out there listening.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our NAIDOC week on country is we go to our sacred place, Boobra Lagoon. We're going out there to really be with our family and community and our people to sit at our place. And, we go out there and make Johnny cakes, our traditional foods, and song and dance and everything. And we do that every year, so that's what keeps me going is just going back, getting refilled, and then I can keep going here while I have to, I guess.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
When you talk about like a reconnection to a country, like besides, like the ceremonial aspect, or what does that feel like to you? Like, well, how important it is, or what could you share for people out there about the need to go bush, to go out into nature and to connect to the environment they live in?
Oh, it's vital. It is absolutely vital. And what that feels like to me is, if I can explain, it's probably like a big warm hug from your ancestors,
Yeah.
like that feeling of security.
Mm.
And they're saying, welcome home. We've got you. You're safe.
Mm.
You are home.
Mm.
And that's what I feel that they're saying. That's, every time I go and step on my country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone has different feelings, when they go and step on their country. And I guess, that's individual for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel very content when I'm home. I don't have to worry about who's watching me, because I know I'm being looked after by, the people around me as well as my ancestors.
Mm.
They walked that country forever. So their spirits, their DNA is in the same ground that I'm walking when I'm out there.
Yeah.
And I know that. So I feel this confidence in who I am out there. And I can't feel that same confidence when I'm off my country.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, I guess, how I deal with that is, I have my medicine bag with all my stuff, sacred stuff from country with me. And so when that's with me, I feel grounded, and that gives me confidence knowing that I take that into spaces. I am taking my ancestors. I am taking my country. So, yeah, I guess something for people living off country is bring your country back with you.
Mm-hmm.
We've got artifacts, I'm lucky Scotty makes all these artifacts and things. So the timber and stuff is from country, and we go out there and we collect that. The other thing is your bush medicines and things like that. Bring all that back with you. And then when you run out, it's time to go back on country to refill,
Yeah.
with your medicines, refill your spirit with everything, connection with family, and go and pay respects to all your loved ones that have passed on as well. Remind them, that you're still coming back, because that's also important.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could speak a bit about the importance of having, like women's business and men's business. Like, why is that so prevalent in Indigenous cultures here in Australia? Like, is it to keep order within communities, or why is there a separate kind of gatherings?
Yeah, it is a little bit to keep order. And again, I'll say it again, this is a vital practice, our ceremonies, men's initiations and women's ceremonies, even, the welcome to babies to country, those ceremonies. All ceremonies are important. Women need space to be together,
Mm-hmm.
and our tribe is matrilineal. So, we are the law holders and law carriers for Gamilaroi.
The
So
women.
we need to, yeah. So I love it. We get to tell the men what to do and they listen. Well, they know they have to. But we need to stay strong. And to do that, we need to be coming together often in these safe spaces.
Has it always been matriarchal?
Yes.
Always. Wow.
Always. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes, it is. It is. And so because of that, I think that's why we kept a lot of our cultural practices.
Uh-huh.
Yes, because, the women nurture nurture the stories, nurture everything, the practices, the families, nurture the earth. So, because of that, I believe that's why we still have a lot of our culture, our language, song, dance, all of that. And it's important for the men too, have their space equally important. It's important for them to be able to take the young boys through ceremony and do what they need to. I can't speak much on that.
Yeah.
But that's, the roles and responsibility of the men need to be passed on, in good ways. Yeah.
Do you see a difference? Like I know that you can't really speak on it, but in your personal observation, do you see a difference in like young boys that go through initiation compared to boys that don't? Like across all cultures, any colored skin boy. I personally, advocate a lot for rites of passage for young boys, young men, to become men.
Yes, I see a lot too, and I advocate for that as well. But what I also see is these young ones, they come with a lot of ego.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the initiation or rites of passage, the ego gets bigger with that.
Right.
Instead of humbling them.
Uh-huh.
And that's a big worry. I see that with a lot of young Aboriginal men.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they turn into big bosses and they can tell old aunties and uncles what to do because they've been through an initiation. No, it doesn't work like that, bud. You need to sit down at your elders' feet and listen and learn.
Mm.
Yes, you've been through initiation, but, you don't have rite of passage to talk over an elder.
Yeah.
That, still needs to be respected. But ultimately, it's a good thing, and I have seen the good ones that have been initiated, they're doing remarkable.
Mm.
They become amazing leaders and, they support the younger ones, mentors to the younger ones that are coming up, and they lead cultural dance, song and dance. And, some of them are just amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do the girls go through like initiations, or do they have ceremonies like coming of age?
They have, not through initiation, but they have ceremonies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really it's beautiful that first of all the matriarchal society is really amazing, and it shows when the family is so important, that's the nucleus of everything. But especially in this day and age where things kind of get so mixed up, having the separation of like that's men's business and that's woman's business, and that's just the law. LORE, that's the way it is, spiritual law.
That's right. That's right. And that's one good thing about our law is that doesn't change.
Yeah.
LAW does.
Yeah.
But our law doesn't. It's there in concrete. So we know what is and what we do and what we don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That law, like is that something that has been formulated over thousands of years, or is there like Dreamtime stories about how those laws were created?
Yeah, that's right. There are creation stories, they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then through those stories, they become law, and through the song lines, that's how we can, I guess, navigate across country is through those song lines. So it's very important to know your country, because your country, I say this all the time, your country holds the stories, not people.
Mm.
Because you go out there and you can say, this is the creation story of that country. This is where that happened.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that with people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hold those stories, but the country does.
Yeah.
That's what's important, to stay connected to your country and be with and understand and have a relationship with country, because it has everything that we need.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're off to Canada soon.
I am off there with my beautiful Scotty and sister Sue. Very excited about this one, but nervous at the same time.
And you're going to spend some time with the Dakota relatives? over there?
Yeah, that's right. Excited about that. And several years ago, I facilitated healing sessions at Healing Our Spirit Worldwide. It's a international event for First Nations people and healers,
Yeah.
where we all come together every 4 years, and it's in different First Nations countries.
Yeah.
So one year it was in Sydney, and I met some Canadian relatives there. Cree, yeah, some Cree people there, and connected with them.
Yep.
And I was just blown away by the similarity of our cultural practices and beliefs with these people. I was just astounded because, like I was saying before, I'm still finding out about the world, even the international world. So to connect with them and know that there's people out there living like us, are like us, and having the same fight as well, had the same experiences, children removed and colonisation and all of that. And they have the same practices and ceremony and rituals. I was just so drawn to these people. I stayed connected with them and, became Facebook friends. So we talk every now and then. So to be going over there to them now, it's like a dream come true. It really is. And, I want to thank my partner, Scotty, for that, giving me this opportunity. He's been there before. I haven't.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have done it without him. No way. So I'm so excited and just, can't thank him enough, really, even though I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I hope you have a great time over there.
Thank you.
Where can people find you or the work that you're doing or the work that Scotty's doing? I know you guys do some great, artisanal work and artifacts and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you can find us on all the socials.
Yeah.
If you're on LinkedIn, Rosie Lang, you can connect with me on there. On Facebook, it's Culturally Informed Practices, as well as Instagram, and our website is Culturally Informed Practices institute.com.au. Yeah, come over. We'd love you to join our community, and we love sharing with people. If we don't share, it just sits dormant with us, and we don't want that to happen. And we're, happy to share with anyone who is respectful and wants to come and sit and listen and just be with us and share love of culture with us.
Yeah, well, we'll put all those links in the podcast notes so people can reach you quite easily. But
yeah, thanks, Bob.
Yeah, no worries. So it's been a pleasure, Rosie. Thank you for coming on the podcast and taking time out, before you go on country. And wish you all the best out there for a good reconnection to spirit and land and country. And a good trip to Canada, and make sure you're back and present.
Yes, I will.
Get some cedar.
Yeah. I know. I'll be wanting to bring everything back. Yeah. I have to post some things back or something.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rosie. And we'll see each other very soon.
Thanks, Bobby. Big love to you and your family and your babies.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.